What's up, guys? Rustic here. We're bringing you a second video for the weekend. Because the previous analysis video for Tesla was so short, we're going to be taking a look at gamma levels, delta levels, options, data, for a couple different tickers. We're going to look at Tesla, we're going to look at QQQ, and we're going to look at Nvidia. We're also going to pull the charts up on those ones. For those of you who are interested, we're using Gamma Edge, their web app. You can get the bronze or the gold package if you're interested in it. They do a 14-day free trial, so you can check it out. It is the service that we use on the Rawstocks trading Discord, and we found it very helpful. We also use Black Box Stocks, which has flow and some other things. But as far as Delta and Gamma, Gamma Edge has been primarily the service that we use, and I found it to be the best so far. So link is in the description below if you want to take a look at that. But we're going to take a look here at Tesla. Like I said, we'll pull up some charts, we'll see what that looks like, and then we can kind of determine what those levels are going to mean to us this week. Cool thing about Gamma Edge is it allows you to filter by expiration date, as well as provide you with a lot of different information on the chart, like net delta, net gex, total OI, net OI, call OI, put OI, and percentage from spot, as well as some other information here on the side. Expected move for the week, right? Are we call dominated? Are we put dominated? Kind of where the gex supply and demand is. So lots of cool information that it provides you as well. And so we'll take a look at this. So let's just dig into it. Tesla here for this week's expiration, 9/27. We're looking at a call wall of 250, right? We have net delta positive up to 250. We have a pretty strong gamma number up at 250. We have a little bit of a strong gamma number at 260 as well. Okay, and then you can see we have some negative delta down here, starting at 240, 250, and 237.50 and 235, right? So when we look over here at our GEX supply and our GEX demand, our demand is down here at 235, right? Our supply is up here at 250. Now, something you got to understand about the gamma curve is that as we push up towards that 250 level, or if we push down towards that 235 level, then dealers are going to be adding to their either long or short positions on the way up to 250 or on the way down to 235. Once we hit those levels, if we don't see continued gamma increase on the strikes above or below where those higher levels are, then we're most likely going to see a rejection or a bounce, depending if we're going up or down, right? So if we were going up at 250 and we didn't see the 250 250s or the 255s increasing, or the 250 or the 260s continue to increase, then we're probably going to hit that 250, and we could go a little bit over. We could get right to it. We'll see the gamma curve decrease, and dealers will start to exit their position. Okay, now if we start to see these levels increase significantly, then dealers will continue buying shares on the way up to hit the next level. Right now, 250 is the wall. So let's take a look at the chart and see what that says. Okay, we got Tesla open, right? We have our 1 hour chart, and we see our 250 level. Let's go ahead and just put it in there. All right, 250. And this is going to be for 9/27. Plus gamma, so gamma high. Okay, and then we'll put in our 235 right here and do it in red. $235. That's going to be our 9/27 minus gex, or our gamma low, right? Or our negative gamma high. So this is kind of our zone right here, right? If we push up, we push down, we might find support here, we might find resistance there. Now, if we break down below it, right, there's some technicals that we could see, or we might see additional gamma levels increasing to the downside, and we'll pay attention to that throughout the week. But right now, that's where we're at heading into Monday's open. Okay, so if we start to see that push up, right, that push up to 250, we might find that 250 provides a good opportunity to take a short entry. right? So we'll just be watching how those gamma levels increase or decrease as we push up to that 250. Now, likewise, if we drop down to the 235, right, we'll see if we crash through it. But if we get down to it, we might find that that's a good spot to take a long entry, right? Now, also because if we go back to the gamma chart, because this gamma is only 10,000, where this one's 90,000, 250 might offer more resistance than 235 offers us support. Okay. And so just want to kind of notice that as well. That also our delta changes positive from the 235 to the 232.50. So that might be an area where price struggles to get below that 232.50. Okay, because my understanding of delta is that when it's positive, dealers are likely to have a long hedge position there. And if it's negative, they're likely to have a short hedge position there just based on delta. Okay, so you can see here 237.50 down through 235, dealers are likely to have a short hedge position there, right? And then it becomes a long hedge position at the 232.50 again, unless this delta flips negative, right? And then that could drive price lower. You'd start to see gamma levels increase to the downside. But right now we're looking at the 250 being resistance, and right now the 235 being minor support. We'll jump over to QQQ and then take a look at this week's numbers for QQQ. Okay, for the nature of time, I'm just going to select the entire week, and you can see the numbers are a little bit across the board. So what we mostly want to notice is that the GEX supply is at 490 and the demand is at 477. Okay, so that's below spot, that's above spot. So 490 and 477. Okay, so we'll jump over to our charts and we will put our 490 level right there. And we're going to make that one green. And we'll take our, what was the other one? 477. We'll take our 477 and we'll place it in there. And that's going to be red. I'm not going to go ahead and label these, but that's our range right now for the week, right? Again, if we drop below one and we start to see gamma increase to lower strikes, then we can, potentially ride that down. But we could also potentially take a long entry at that 477, see if it offers support, or we could take our short entry up to 490, or we can be, looking for an entry to take that 490 call out of the money and see if we can run it up over the week, right? Or we could take it at the money and use 490 as a target, or we could take a put and we can use 477 as the target, right? So basically what I would also be doing is looking at the fib levels in between these. Okay, so if we are above the 50% of this range, right, because that's where our opening gamma is going to be on Monday. If we're above the 50%, this is going to be premium price, right, or premium side. Below 50 down to 0 is going to be our discount side. Okay, so if we're above 50, closer to 490, you could potentially take a put, right? Because this is going to be a better price to take your put and target that 477. If we are below the 50% level here, the below 483.55, right, somewhere down here, we could potentially take a call. That's going to be the best price for a call to try to run it up to 490. But you definitely want to be watching and seeing what price is telling you as well, because if we're down here, right, and then it looks like we're going to fall down to this liquidity level here, right, that would not be a good you would not necessarily want to take a call in that case. So still, gamma and delta isn't going to be perfect. You want to be watching and seeing what price is telling you, right? But it's likely that, we're going to potentially throughout the week hit this 477 and this 490 level. I'm not going to go way deep down it, but you can then, again, that's the entire week's gamma. So you could then look at these different expiration dates and see when does it look more likely that we're going to take the dip, right? Versus when is it more likely that it looks like we're going to take the rip. So if you see here, we got a little bit of a balance, right? And it looks like there's a lot, and this could change going into Monday, but it looks like there's a lot of delta hedge short positions along this, this 488 all the way down to 481. right? And then delta flips positive, and then these are, you know, dealer hedged long positions based on delta. Okay, so if we're in this range on Monday, we could potentially just kind of chop back and forth here, accumulating, right? And then we go into Tuesday, and then we start to see a little bit of flip-flopping, right? But we could run down to 477. We could push up to 487. So there's a bit of a range on this one. And then 925, you see we have a strong 479. So that's anticipating that come Tuesday, Wednesday, we might see that drop down to 479, right? And then Thursday, even though we have some positive gamma, these are really small numbers. And we could, again, going into Wednesday, see that push down, which would maybe hit these and then start to see that bounce back up where we see very positive numbers, right? Dealers hedged long for the end of the week, right? We got a lot of positive gamma and we have a 490 all the way at the end of the week. So if we get that dip Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, maybe even into Thursday, we could start to take a look at if these levels continue to be here, making that run into the end of the week. Last thing we'll look at is Nvidia. We'll look at Nvidia for this week. And you can see here spot price in the gold, right? We have a lot of positive delta here, but we also have this negative. So when we get to 118, if this hasn't flipped, dealers are hedged delta short here, right? And dealers are also hedged delta short at the 116. We also have some pretty strong negative gamma, but we also have very strong positive gamma up here at the 121 and 120. Okay, so if we see an early move down, we could potentially, if these numbers hold, see a push up after that towards that 121. Alternatively, if we make that push early in the week and these numbers don't start to increase, right, then we could see a drop near the end of the week. So we'll just be continuing to monitor those levels and see what they tell us. But if you jump over to 10.4, you start to see 108 is a strong support. So if we go back here, we got 110 levels, right? That if we drop down to possibly into this week, right? Also next week has a very, very strong 108 delta hedge that's going to be long, right? And we see here, just like 120 was our strong level for this week, we also see that the following week we're delta short for the dealers. Okay, so that would, you know, potentially say that unless that flips, that 121 level is going to be sticky over the next 2 weeks, right? Which then could push us down, and we could potentially try to push back up through it. Doesn't mean we will or won't get through it, but it looks like the 121 level is going to be sticky, right? So sometimes you want to look out to the future week. You know, I don't like to look out too far because sometimes the numbers will get skewed a little bit. You know, you'll see a big level that's there, and then, you know, within the middle of the week that level's dropped significantly. So if you're taking a trade solely based on, you know, some high unusual level that's up above or down below, those can adjust quickly. So don't want to look too far out. I'll show you too, like we looked at those 2 weeks, you know, then we start to see some big numbers, 130, right? 130. Then we start to see some large bars, but you also want to look at these numbers here. Just because the bar looks large, 8,000 gex isn't big when we have, you know, 200,000 gamma at 121 for this week. So don't be fooled by the visuals. You definitely want to look at the numbers as well, right, to support, you know, what your bias is and how you're developing. And then again, you want to look at your charts just to see if the gamma matches what you might see on the chart. So we'll take a look at Nvidia. Right, Nvidia, we got it up here. We'll do the 121 level here, and that's our positive gamma high. And then for this week, we got a 110 as our positive gamma low. So we'll go here, 110. Okay, now we got our levels on our chart. We can look at that range. You can see we're inside that range, right? Similarly, if we push up above that 115.50 mark, right, we're in premium. Good opportunity to take a short, especially as we get closer to that 121, right, and see if we can ride that back down to 110. Or if we drop down below the 50% level towards 110, right, we could look to take the long and then see if we can ride it back up. Remember that time is your friend when you're trading options. So the further out expiration, even if we're looking at this week, if you can buy yourself some time, then great. Then you don't have to worry about, are we pushing the potential expiration or not. So hopefully this has been some helpful information, a little bit of insight into kind of what I look for and how I look for it when I'm using gamma and delta levels, as far as my trading goes on the Rawstocks Discord and the callouts. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. Don't forget to check out the link in the description. 14-day free trial to Gamma Edge. We'll see you guys on the next one.